Inside the Birds is back. What's going on, everybody? It's Geoff Mosher, Adam Caplan. We're in the middle of the week. We're getting closer to this Eagles game against the Broncos, which promises to be, well, it should be a very fun game. And we're still sort of reconciling the Eagles and their win over the Bucs and some of the fallout. And I will say this, Adam, 4 weeks through the season, I would say the Eagles they've been bit in little bunches by the injury bug, like Goddard and Lane Johnson and Nolan Smith, of course, on IR. They are fortunate in my part, the way things have gone around the NFL. I mean, you've seen some really star players already out for the year, whether it's Tyreek Hill, right? Or CeeDee Lamb's going to be out for a while. And there are players all around the league who are out. And I would say the Eagles situation isn't dire compared to some others, but every week it just seems like they got some key players who have some uncertainty about them.
The Niners absolutely devastated by injury. It's terrible. It's
every year.
Bosa, yes, ACL, but his second one in his career, by the way.
Yep.
But Purdy's problems. And this is why when you look at builds, the Hurts is solid build. I know he's had some knee issues, shoulder, but I want a guy who's solidly built. Like Purdy is a small frame guy. I know he's put some weight on. You worry about it. He had a toe injury, which is going to keep him out again this week. So they got the Ayuk situation. He won't be back to well past mid-season.
Right. Kittle's out.
What's that?
And Kittle is also out.
Kittle's out 100%. He's George Brittle's his nickname. It's not nice, but I know some people have called him that. Great. He might be a Hall of Famer someday, but great player. Hurt a lot.
Yep.
One of the reasons why they traded Deebo Samuel was his injury history. And they have a number of players out this week. A lot of four guys who were starters this week who are not on injury reserve for the Niners are out. So, yeah, they have problems. And honestly, now we'll get to the Nakobe Dean situation, which is really good news.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, if you look at the Eagles IR list now, Van Sumeren, it's too bad we never really got to see what he was going to do, but it's not a major loss. Johnny Wilson, part of the run game. But now that one, sneaky, underrated loss.
Yeah, I agree.
For the run game. Nolan Smith now is on IR. That's not good. Okonkwo is done for the season. We'll get into that and what that's going to look like for their edge group. But, yeah, no, you're right. They haven't had a devastating, oh, my God, this guy's out for the season. How are they going to get by? No, they haven't had that.
Yeah, I mean, the Commanders had a play last week against a Falcons team that I'm quite positive they're better than. But backup quarterback, no Terry McLaurin, Austin Eckler out for the year. We already talked about in our preseason kind of evaluation of the NFC East about how the Commanders could be good, except that they're just lacking in real playmakers. McLaurin's a very good receiver, but he's not like a Justin Jefferson. And Debo's a nice addition, but it's not like having AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. And then we talked about Eckler being important because of his versatility. And as soon as they lost him, that was a big part of their offense. So they've kind of had to survive and then lost Jaden Daniels for a little bit there. So yeah, the Eagles, the good for them to get Nakobe back. We'll talk about that. I mean, he's in the practice window. We'll discuss what that means, and then we'll go inside what some of these injuries mean and give the early word here on the Broncos injuries as well. I just want to take this second, and I'm probably going to do this quite a bit. Adam and I will, to remind people. Well, we want to apologize. We had a sound issue with Inside the Tape with Greg Cosell, and so a lot of people left messages, but it was a one-time thing. We fixed it. It should be fine. And then the second thing is it's football season, people. So that is prime time for us and prime time for our advertisers. So yes, there are a lot of ads in our pods, and we are both podcast listeners, and we have to deal with that when we listen to our favorite podcasts as well, which is why we have our Patreon channel, patreon.com/InsideTheBirds, where you get every podcast uploaded the night before or even sometimes earlier than that with 0 reads, 0 commercial ads. It is just me, Adam, or whoever our guest is in a podcast, or Andrew DeCecco for DeCecco Daily. No ads, no reads. And then on top of that, with our tier system, you get about 20 to 25% more bonus content that you wouldn't get on our normal podcast or YouTube platform. That includes Ask Greg Cosell live stream every week. Ask an Eagle, former Eagle, coach, player, personnel guy once a month. live stream every week that we do. Ask ITB live stream. Adam does a great job with that, and people love talking to him and getting
That's
extra
the only
intel.
place. Yeah, just so you know, that's the only place I will answer Eagles questions, and
Yep.
you know that's safe for you guys. Super high level talk.
Very.
If you know what I'm talking. The tier threes know. They know.
Yeah.
I need to not sit. And I appreciate we had a bunch of people sign up lately. We love it. We appreciate it. And just so people know, we throw in bonus stuff which we don't advertise. Like, you know what? I've decided like once a month. I'm probably one. It depends on the game. If it's a game I really like for the Eagles, I'm doing a halftime live stream for tier threes. I'm just doing it. It's not. We never advertise it. We're doing it. You know, we get. By the way, we didn't know this was going to happen. Greg offered tier threes as another special bonus. His notes. We actually post it before I even read it. I post it. We post them in consecutive days, Monday morning and Tuesday morning. So
it's incredible.
Tier threes, what's that?
It's incredible. I mean, you get all of Greg Cosell's tape notes for being a member. It's amazing.
So, folks, tier threes, if you ever meet Greg, please shake his hand. Thank him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't know this was going to happen. We're not charging you any extra. You get it. It's a tier three, and a couple of people did tell us that they sign up partially because of that. I guess they heard us saying it, so we appreciate it. Appreciate all the support, and we get super real on these live streams. I'm going to leave it at that.
I like that. We keep it a buck, right, on these live streams. We give a lot of information. All right. So that I just wanted to put out there again, patreon.com/InsideTheBirds. We had an awesome Ask an Eagle with with Todd Harrimans, who had some really awesome stories. Now I know if you're just a mainstream listener, you get a snippet of that. We put about a 10-minute version of that and Ask Greg Cosell, so you guys get to hear that. But it's just so much more expansive on Patreon. You get all the questions. You get to personally ask these guys the questions yourself, and you get the full stories. We don't put the good, juicy stories and things like that. Like Todd had a really interesting TO story. That's only for the Patreon members. So.
That story. See, I've known Todd. I've known Todd since he was drafted. You and I have known him for a number of years, and there was some stuff, and I'm like, "What? What did he just say?" It wasn't just the TO. It was so many things I didn't know about him, or I couldn't remember. Like he had told us. I knew he had told me this when over the years that when he was a player. I don't know what I ran into him in the locker room, and I said, "You look bigger." Well, I didn't. 349.
Yeah, he was big.
Holy bleep! And I know. Juan Castillo wanted him to put weight on. Are you out of your mind? I mean, geez. That was a shocker when he said I'd never heard that before, and I was like, I know he's 6'6", but he wasn't that frame didn't seem like it was that big to me. So anyway, it is.
Mass kicks ass, baby.
It does. That's what Juan says. It was a great interview. One of my top 3 favorite of any former Eagle. It was pretty darn great, and he loved it. He loved it.
Yep.
And so he's doing the show with Trey, right? The what is it called?
You know, it's something with the vineyards. I asked him to tell me, Trey, when he was on the BCB show with us, and he didn't tell me the full name. So now I have to.
They're on IG. So
Between the Vines. I think it's called Between the Vines with Trey and Todd. Yeah.
Okay. So it's real simple. They're on IG. That's where I saw it first. You just hit it. So it's great.
Yeah. And they talk football and drink wine. Well, I mean, it's great. It's awesome.
I wish I liked wine, but I don't. Sorry.
Good wine is good.
I don't know what's wrong with me. Because I just don't understand the fascination. I think every coach that I know drinks wine. It's kind of awkward. Like when you go out with these people and okay, I'll drink a beer. Is that okay?
You don't do the Manischewitz on a holiday, Adam?
No. That's called Jewish grape juice for those of you who are not Jewish. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's talk about the Eagles here. So Nakobe Dean gets activated into the 21-day window, which means, Adam, the Eagles have 21 days to make a decision on him. I always feel like we have to remind people of what the window is and then what happens at the end of the window. So why don't you take it from there? You always explain things with better detail than I do.
So he's on reserve, physically unable to perform. He has a designation for return. So I call it DFR. So on Wednesday, they activate him into that window. They have 21 days to make a decision. Everything we've heard would suggest at some point within the 21 days, he's going to come back. Let's assume he does. But if he doesn't, let's say he had a setback, right? He's done for the season. Once you get past 21 days, he can't play if they don't activate him. He remains on PUP the rest of the season. He can't come back even through the playoffs. So just hope there's no setback, because if not, he's going to play. Now, let's move this along here. as we told you in August, there's zero chance he's a starter if Campbell's playing and playing. I mean, playing well. That's just the way it works, folks. It's nothing personal against Nakobe, who was phenomenal.
Great. He had a great
suffered
year.
the patella tendon injury. And Vic doesn't throw compliments around. He throws them around like manhole covers. He said he was great because he was great. Okay. Great. Nakobe's like super elite smart. He had to get out of his own way. If you remember, it was that we were there at the practice last year at the Link when it was probably that was his biggest low as an Eagle. I think he just struggled.
Yep.
But something snapped into his head and he got progressively better and he became a stud. I don't know that he would have been a Pro Bowler. He should have been had he not gotten hurt. But you never see, the problem is you don't know for the fans who don't follow them or an All-Pro, the media, the AP voters, I don't know how much they know about certain players, but Eagle fans know this guy was an absolute stud and it's a great dude. He got over the size issue. The size issue has nothing to do with his knee. You could suffer patella tendon, anyone can, but it's a terrible injury. We have the guys who do the Sports Bros Med podcast on to talk about that. When did we have them on?
Right after Aaron was nice enough to join us.
Aaron
like
Borgman,
2 days.
yeah.
Aaron Borgman, right, former Eagles athletic trainer and Chiefs athletic trainer, joined us, and he talked about that advancements have made it not as catastrophic as it used to, but it's still considered the toughest one to come back from.
So basically, my sense is just knowing where Campbell's at, who's well ahead. I'll admit it. I didn't think he'd be this good. He's relatively new to inside backer, as Vic calls them, inside backers. Edges are edges, backers are backers. He doesn't call OLBs in a 34 front, although they play a 5-man front. But he doesn't call them linebackers; he calls them edges.
Right.
So he could be a rundown guy. Like they have to see what they have to get through here is, yes, they have the medical reports from their training staff. They know that he's looked good. They've known for a series of weeks he was going to be ready by week 5 to start working his way back. But until you get him into practice, you don't know what he can or can't do. You judge what he will do when he's ready to play based on the way he looks. But Campbell is a starter. Now, this is one of my favorite things. Some fans I call them the Kingston conflation. What does that mean? Oh, well, if Dean's back, you could find a role for him, and then Campbell could be an edge rusher. Folks, if Za'Darius Smith is starting, which he should be, he played well. Vic said he played well.
Yep.
You can't play 12 players at a time. You can only play one.
Right.
You realize that.
Right. You have to take somebody off the field if you're putting somebody new on the field and you're moving somebody into a position. So I do think that maybe, I think this is a long shot, but maybe given Jalix Hunt, if he's not producing as a pass rusher, and he's been okay, he's fine right now. You're not changing anything, right? But if you want to move if you want to move Campbell a little bit more to edge, and do put Nakobe in, if you feel like he's in shape and he's great, then maybe I can see that a little bit, but not in the way that people have asked. Like, do you just start Nakobe and move Campbell to edge? No, you do not do that.
With an asterisk. No, I'm going to take your point a step further. I had someone from another team who does pro work tell me Philly should have Hunt as their third guy. He said he's not there as a pass rusher. This is from coach tape. This is all they watch. They don't get access to Eagles practice tape, so they have no idea how he practices, or they didn't see him in training camp because they don't get access to that. So the guy told me, he goes, if they could just have him as third edge, you could bring him along slowly, more slowly. And that could be on, okay, now you can move Campbell to edge. Now, I wouldn't rule that out. Quite frankly, Hunt is not there yet as an edge rusher.
I also agree with that, but I think you also, this would be a couple of weeks down the road, right? And you're probably not far from Nolan Smith at that point, coming back and getting back into the action. So it's, I think we're both in agreement that there's only a small percentage where you really see Nakobe getting his normal full-time off-ball linebacker job back. It would have to be a string of events that entail something going on at a different position for that to happen.
And Fangio shot it down again, which was a fair question by the media about him playing more edge. Now, in Greg's notes, I got to look at the number because he charts it. His guys at NFL Films chart this. I'll give it to you in a minute.
While you look for that, I'm just going to make an additional point. you don't want to weaken a position just to neutralize another position. And what I mean is right now, the way Campbell is progressing, I mean, he made the biggest play. You could argue that his interception on Mayfield was the biggest swing play in that game, right? Took a touchdown away. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing at a really high level for a rookie and just in general player. So you have two linebackers in Bond and Campbell who are playing extraordinarily high level. So what are you gaining by moving Campbell somewhere else now to potentially, but not, you don't know, try to strengthen another area and neutralizing what you have at linebacker? I don't think that's, to me, it doesn't add up. You want to keep this greatness that you have at this because you play so much zone, and this is a big, and sim pressures and blitzing linebackers are a part of what you do.
Yep.
To just keep this tandem. They're playing out of their mind. Like you said, it sucks for Nakobe, but why are you trying to mess with what's not broken there?
Campbell is now in Greg's notes. He says, "Quote: Campbell continued to play significant snaps, line up on the ball on the edge. 19 snaps versus the Rams, 18 versus Bucks. Now, understand, sometimes he's an add-in defender against the run.
Most times, yeah.
I mean, I'd have to ask Greg. Okay, could you? It may be hard for him to do that.
The point is, they're not bringing another linebacker in when he does that. He just walks down from his nickel linebacker spot and is an extra man on the offensive line.
Yeah. I'm sorry, So look, and by the way, Josh Uche's look good. We haven't talked about him enough. He looks good.
It's fair. It's weird that they play him. It feels like they think that they're getting the most out of Uche in the snaps that they're giving him. And because they're also still trying to develop Jalen Hunt, because it almost seems like you would play Uche more based on, and by the way, Inside the Data with Sam Finkel that comes out Friday, we really go into that. Uche has been playing well. Zadarius Smith playing really well. So you'll want to check that out.
Real quick, what is he now when Sam talks to Zadarius Smith? What is he measuring? What's the talk about?
His get off rate, his pressure rate. So interestingly, I don't want to give away the show, but
all right, I just curious.
He does not have the best get off rate among all the edge rushers, but his pressure rate is higher, which means he's not just a speed guy. Like some of these guys, you'll see the list of edge rushers. Some of them have way better get off, but they're not causing pressures because maybe they're just getting off so fast, but they're getting blocked after they get it. Get off is just the time it takes for you to get over the line of scrimmage. But the pressures that Zadarius Smith is creating are at a really high percentage, a very good percentage, and basically suggest that he should play. And Vic's comments match it up that he's probably going to play more as the weeks go on.
And the guy I spoke with, he gave me a breakdown of kind of his thoughts on the Eagles tape so far, because this is a job. Eagles are one of his teams. He spoke very highly of Ojomos. Pressure rate is really good, probably better than you think it is, as he explained to me. He's aware of, he kind of knew going in that Ojomo would not be good against the run. He's not. He said by tape study, their front. Sometimes they get upfield and they blow a play up, or they get close, and then sometimes they get out of alignment. That's something we'll talk. I was driving on Monday, and the guy was very nice to me. He read a lot of stuff, and I couldn't write it down because I was driving. But he explained to me what he saw, and I asked him about a bunch of players that came to my mind. I didn't have a list because I didn't know I was going to talk to the guy. But he spoke super highly of Josh Uche. He said he's totally back. Totally back. He's not what he once was. That's a little bit too strong.
Yeah,
but he absolutely can play. He's been a nice surprise for the Eagles on a bargain basement deal.
Yep.
Whereas Ojulari is. That's a lot of money that they're not. It's not a ton of money. It's around $4 million. But
I mean, for a guy not playing, I think that's a pretty significant amount of money. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But no, look, Devin White was over $5 million, and then they had a negotiation with him so that they to pay him less than that so he can play again this season. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that in another show. Kind of whether notes we get from people around the league. But I would say this as we move along for this. Nakobe's going to play. It's a great thing to have him. He's a big-time leader. The Eagles didn't know they'd be drafting Campbell. They didn't know that. Had no idea that he would drop as far as he did. That was certainly surprising. Yes, he had some injury concerns, but he is so far ahead of what anyone I've spoken to. I know you've talked to people. No one thought he'd be this good. And he's still got the great thing. He's got so much room for growth. It's hard to believe, but he does.
Yeah. And by the way, in case we didn't mention this as part of the protocol, they don't have to wait 21 days. He
No,
was
he played this week.
right. He was
Yeah.
listed as a limited participant in practice on Wednesday, and we'll see what it means. But I would say this, because of the short turnaround for Thursday's game against the Giants after, I think it would be hard for him to not play against the Broncos, but then be ready to play against the Giants, because they're not going to be on the practice field in actual practices. Those are all going to be walkthrough days. So I don't know that you're going to be able to get your conditioning and your practice under your legs. So to me, it's more likely than not that he sees the 21-day window through, and then they go from there.
We'll learn more as we go along here. So that's with Nakobe. Okonkwo's done for the season, torn triceps.
Yeah.
Charlie Hewlett. I'm sorry. Did you say his agent said he had groin surgery? Sports hernia?
Core muscle, I believe it was.
Core muscle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Dr. Andrews would not be happy if I called it sports hernia.
Yeah.
It is called core surgery, and Dr. William Myers he's the man for NFL players who's off at the Vincera Institute in the Naval Shipyard. How about
Listen, that guy has caused us Philadelphia Eagles reporters so many issues in the past, unknowingly, because, you know, a lot of NFL players in March after the season, when they get their, you know, body checked out and discover that they have core muscle issues or a sports hernia, they fly into Philly to go see Dr. Myers, and then fans inevitably see these guys. I remember once it was Jonathan Vilma, it was somebody else, and then they start saying, hitting up the reporters on social media, are the Eagles signing this guy? Are the Eagles trading for that? Oh my God, this guy's
know that. That's
oh God, all the time.
Really?
All the time. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So Hewlett has a groin or a core muscle, I guess, issue. Yeah. So that's a tricky one, Adam, because, you know, we've seen this in the past. Guys have come back too soon from it and then re-injured it. I don't know, like, if it's different for a long snapper where you're not putting as much stress on your body.
Yeah. I mean, typically you're back within 6 weeks, but not everybody's the same. So what do? The legendary Cal Adamitis, who was who replaced. These are the kind of, I love this stuff. I put in my notes because I remember Clark Harris. He replaced Clark Harris. Clark Harris is, at one point in his career, the highest paid long snapper in NFL history. And this Adamitis kid, he was signed as an undrafted free agent. He replaced him in 2022, and Cal's no longer with the Bungles. He's now with the Birds. And now the question will be, when Hewlett's cleared later in the season, what happens? That could be a long snapper controversy.
Boy, can you see like Nakobe Dean and Charlie Hewlett sitting somewhere, like getting Wally pipped? Oh man. Yeah. Now Andrew DeCecco had a great note about Adamitis on InsideTheBirds.com. Not only did he win the Patrick Manley Award, which is awarded to the nation's best long snapper in college at Pitt, but he grew his hair out and cut it for Locks of Love, a nonprofit agency dedicated to helping children. So nice, good on that. Get a good guy as well.
Out of Pitt, yeah. It's funny because the picture that's out there has him with long hair. So before he did that, so good for him. And look, that the guy was pretty accomplished. He's still pretty young. You know, long snappers. There's some long snappers who do it through their early 40s. So you just never know. And then he's back. APR is back. Antoine Powell-Ryland is back. The 6th rounder. This year. The knock on him from a scouting standpoint, not a great athlete, put up really big numbers in college, but teams saw he was too stiff. And I was wrong. I thought someone would claim off waivers. He's a pass rusher. Oops, I was wrong. It didn't happen. But he is back on the Eagles practice squad with that opening, and good for him. APR is back, and he was with who was he? Wait.
I didn't think he was with somebody, was he?
I thought he was cut off the practice. Oh, you know what it was? I'm sorry. He had a bunch of workouts. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
He was on the Eagles practice squad. Yeah, he was on the practice squad initially, and they cut him.
Right.
And then which surprised me. I'm like, geez, I don't know, man. Pass rusher numbers, there's a reason why I dropped to the 6, obviously. I guess 32 teams were right or 31 were right. But you know what? Good for him. Let him stay on the practice squad. Let him develop. And goodness, the Eagles need future pass rushers. That's for sure.
100%. Now the Eagles still have one spot on their 53-man roster, correct?
Yes. As Andrew, when we did the BCB show, said, "Hey, they have an opening. Let's see what they do."
And now, normally when they do that, I'm like, "Oh, well, I know who's getting this spot," because we used to make the fun jokes about Kenyon Green, but he's with the Ravens now, I believe. So they can't sign him to their 53s with the Ravens.
Yep.
Is he not?
I thought yes, I think he did. Yeah. And then Lance Dixon was released off the practice squad. They did work out a young journeyman who's been with the Eagles before. Jacob Sykes was worked out on Wednesday.
I always find it funny when they work out a guy who was with them all throughout either training camp or it's like, what did you think in the 2 weeks since you played roster tango with him? He gained like 50 pounds.
I was just gonna say, did he put up 10 pounds? Yeah, it's a fair point. I find it hard. I wonder if the NFL, because they do this occasionally, when teams turn in workouts past 4 p.m. Eastern, they go on the next day. I'll check because I get access to all the workouts, so I'll see if they, because I think it's ridiculous that they wouldn't work them out, because right now their punter and kicker, they're had to be Pro Bowlers. Okay, Ringo's had been a Pro Bowler, coverage player, right?
Yeah,
their special teams right now. I mean, they've had occasionally a guy will return it well, but okay, you're not going to be perfect. But the punter and kicker, absolutely stars. The two, they've got 3 blocks now.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's Mike Clay fans used to beat him up. They wanted this guy fired. Why is he here? This guy stinks.
Yeah.
You got to let people grow as coaches, folks. You can't fire everybody every week. They're not going to have any coaches left.
There you go. And amazingly, Kevin Patullo still walking around the
I don't know how he wasn't fired after 4 weeks. And then I gotta, this is one of my favorite top 5 all-time complaint from fans. When the Eagles collapsed totally in 23, they wanted Jeff Lurie, not Luria, Jeff Lurie, to sell the football Eagles. They had it with him. The team collapsed. It's his fault. They can't spell his last name. I love it. Lauria. Lurie. I love it when fans you're talking about one of the best owners in professional sports. It's not, look, he's, by the way, without him, Howie wouldn't have fired 5 times.
Yeah.
No offense. He's now the best GM in the league. Give Jeffrey credit for backing Howie when he could have fired him.
By the way, my mom still accidentally calls him Jeffrey Luria. I'm like, you got the wrong owner. wrong sport, wrong owner. The former Marlins owner, right? Jeffrey Luria.
No, but who called him that?
My mother.
Luria. Oh, God, the former Expos and Marlins owner. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Ooh.
All right.
All right, let's get Florida. That's why.
She is. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into some Eagles injury updates. Before that, quick word from our great sponsors.
Hey, you know that one guy in the group chat who hit a 5-leg parlay week 1 and he wouldn't shut up about it for the rest of the season? Sounds like Caplan, right? Yeah, it could be him. It could be you, and we would all want to be you. MyBookie makes it stupid easy to get in on the action, whether it's college ball, NFL, super contest, and survivor pools, all the spreads, player props, and in-game lines that you could want all under one roof. What more could you want than that? If you're new to MyBookie, use our code, THEBIRDS, THEBIRDS, THEBIRDS. Use the code, and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your bet back bonus token. There is no better time to jump in right now. No better place to play. Football is back. Let's make some money with MyBookie.
Sports are all about competition. Every snap, every possession, every clutch moment matters. That same energy is what 1v1 Me brings to video games. Every single day, you can watch and stake on matchups in Madden, NBA 2K, FC, and Call of Duty Search and Destroy. All the games are streamed live. Every match has refs, and payouts are instant. And these aren't just random online lobbies. These are the best players in the scene, pros, streamers, and rivals. With season playoffs and the championship game on the line, every game matters. Over $100 million has already been paid out on the app, and the community is growing fast. If you're a sports fan, a gamer, or just someone who loves having a little extra on the line, 1v1 Me is where you need to be. It's not just about winning, it's about the bragging rights too. Every match has a chat going crazy, and you can back your picks in real time. Download today and use code BIRDS. Your first stake on the app is risk-free. That's code BIRDS for a risk-free first stake. Eagles injury. So this Dallas Goedert thing, man, he keeps kind of hurting himself and popping up. I know he was. Believe he was out of practice Wednesday, right? Did not practice.
Yes, so he was re-added to the injury report. So he was removed last week. And then now we don't know if it's the same knee. We're not sure, but it's a knee issue. He didn't practice Wednesday. We'll see what happens today.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, if he's even limited, I would bet the house he's playing.
I would too.
He's got to get out there, man. This is, I don't know, man. Anyway, and we saw life without him ain't grand, but this Cam Latu, would they please play him in line? I get it. It's a fullback. He's had some nice blocks. He's an inline tight end. Move him there. All right, that's my soapbox. Lane Johnson with a shoulder stinger, limited on Wednesday. He did some work. Now, here's the question. With stingers, you typically get it massaged out, but he hasn't completely got rid of it. Yes, Fred Johnson's done a nice job, but there's no way to know if this is going to go week to week with him. He doesn't even know. It's just it's got to leave his system, but it's still there.
Yeah, this is the time where if you're the Eagles, you wish your bye week was coming up soon, so you could kind of try your best to get through it, and then you have a week and then another week to rest a guy. But they don't have one for a while, so that's more so with these injuries where you can play through it, but then you also run the risk of re-aggravating it constantly, and it becomes a little bit of a cat and mouse game with the treatment there. So
their bye is week 9,
right?
So and we're moving along though. It's week 5 already, so it's not
man. After this week, you're 5 of 17 is almost like 30%. That's crazy to me.
I know it's
how fast this thing moves, right?
We got buys this week, the first week of buys. So anyway,
right.
Yep. So, all right, JalenCarter still with his shoulder issue and Dory Jackson with the groin. Now, here's a good thing. Carter worked on Wednesday. So did Jackson. Now, he wasn't really that close last week. He was not expected to play all week. He was kind of knew that, but they did get him some work, very late, very limited work. He was doing more this week. JalenCarter, look, you saw him. He held his shoulder. We talked about this in our initial reporting with Carter when they drafted him. The one issue that you had other than off the field was a shoulder issue. We don't know if it's the same shoulder. We're looking into it, but the bottom line is you saw him. He was in pain. He did talk after the game. He felt he needed to go out there and do the right thing by his teammates. It's a great job by him. This could be recurring all season. This is, but that's why Byron Young's playing as much as he is. That's it. I mean, they just don't. They don't have a lot of. Ty Robinson's not ready to play. He's just not ready to contribute yet. So. Till he is, Byron Young's that first guy off the bench, and that's it.
Yeah, Ty Robinson's sort of like the forgotten draft pick because, there was an opportunity, we thought, with the thinness at DT for him to be able to at least get some rotational time, but he's just not there yet. He's not ready. He wasn't ready in camp. We talked about his preseason performances were a little inconsistent. He overplayed some angles at times, and obviously Vic still feels that he needs more time before he gets on the field.
Yeah, real quick. Greg said he was very raw in the preseason. Greg, we asked him to, if you could watch the preseason tape. There's certain questions we had. He said he was really raw by what he saw.
Raw, right? Yeah, that sounds about right. This JalenCarter thing, man, it's very weird, don't you? I mean, he looks at times like the camera will focus on him on the sideline, and he's grabbing his shoulder. Like you would think he's in a pretty severe amount of pain, but both Vic shrugs off everybody's pain. Like you could be half bloody and dead on the field, and he would tell you to get your ass out there. But it just seems like Carter's really fighting through it. Now we know he had some stuff in college, but I don't remember in his first or second year seeing this hit him really battling it like we're seeing now.
Yeah, it's something that's got to be monitored to the point if they think it's going to be chronic, which right now it seems to be. Hey. I don't know if you realize this. The Eagles put that injury report out in training camp. He was on the first one.
Yeah, I remember that.
How did this happen? I was like, how?
I remember last year. Yeah, last year, Adam, they would put him on the injury. He would miss a Wednesday practice for a shoulder, and you and I would be like, well, we know about his history, but he just played the game. He didn't look like he was in. We would be sort of surprised. It felt like a pop-up, and then it would never become anything.
Well, he did. He has missed time with it, by the way. He's missed time.
It's just not in the NFL, though, I'm saying. Right.
I think I'll look. I'm reasonably sure he has missed a game because of it.
Okay, maybe he did miss a game, but yeah, it's just this is the first time I can remember seeing him sort of visibly in pain and trying to fight through it.
Camera showed him on the sideline. You're right, and the heat. Andrew was there. I talked to, in fact, Andrew and I, the waitress who waited on us at Chickies on Tuesday, she was at the game. She said she had to go to the concourse. It was so hot,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carter's missed. Now, he missed one
He's
game.
played 16 games each of the last 2 years, but didn't they not play their players in the season finale?
I think one of them, I thought one of them, they did play the starters because they didn't play well. Was it 23?
He wasn't. That's a good question.
I'll double check. But
Okay.
bottom line is he's had this recurring shoulder problem. That we definitely know because it's a fact.
Right.
He's had shoulder problems. So it's something to keep an eye on as you go along here. And look, that's part of why at times he's not played well this season. That's part of it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, you're right. It looked like his first year he missed week 6. It looked like he didn't play there.
Okay.
Unless
Then
that
it was week 6. I'm sure it was
know.
the shoulder.
Yeah. All right. So we'll just have to. I wonder if in the offseason we're going to find out he has a surgery of something or some sort. Yeah, because usually that stuff doesn't just go away on its own, right? I mean, if there's something structurally or it's something in there that's going to keep bothering him, it's hard to see that just go away.
Doesn't help. I mean, look, when they get to week 9, the bye, man, rehab the hell out of it, man. Massages and treatment. And anyway, that's
right.
That.
All right, and Adoree Jackson still limited with the groin. We'll see. I thought Keely Ringo held his own as a coverage.
I know for a fact he did. By the way, just on your point, off, you can't see it off TV. For the amateurs who are watching off TV, saying, "Oh, they didn't throw him. He didn't do anything." 2 people told me who graded Eagles tape. One guy said, "Okay, there were a couple times where they probably could have beaten him." He thought because he was behind a little bit. He said overall. Not in coverage wants to throw to him. Mostly he was where he's supposed to be. Like he was there. Like Vic wasn't just making it up. He was sticky. That's the term.
Yeah.
So we were right. He was not. But what's that?
He just did poor in tackling.
Yeah, there were a couple. Like, dude, he was like if you ask the defensive backs coach, what's it when you grade? What are your like 5 top things? Coverage is the number 1. There's no debate over it. Tackling is clearly in the top 5, if not top 3.
No,
his angles. The one was so off. I was like, but now I like Vic's explanation. I think it's fair. There's a way you tackle as a special teams player. There's a way you tackle as a corner. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that is true. But yes, you're right. In Vic's defense, where you're playing a lot of zone, you ask your corners
not as much. Not as much.
Well, they're still playing. Even when they blitz, they play. Yeah, you're right. You're not as much.
Way more man.
Heavily zone. Yeah. But the point is, you don't. The outside corners sometimes are passing off guys, so they don't have to run all the downfield. You got to tackle when the ball's coming your way.
Got to be a little better. Yeah, and look, he also had a hold that wasn't called. Quinyon, who was a stud in this game. Greg Cosell called him a top 3 corner.
Yeah,
I'm not arguing with Greg. They got to watch the handsies, being the handsies.
I've never been so proud of my pregame MVP pick as I was for picking Quinyon.
That was a great pick. Yeah, I don't know why you thought so. Why did you think so?
So I kind of thought that what happened is what I thought is that Baker wasn't going to really, without Mike Evans, Baker was only going to trust Egbuka, and I thought Vic was going to travel with Mitchell and Egbuka, and I know Baker is sort of cocky, so I felt like I felt like Baker was going to say, do I want to go away for Quinyon and then try to throw the ball all day to Sterling Shepard and who's the other receiver that they have who's just okay, and Godwin, but even Godwin's a slot guy, so Mitchell. Yeah, so I felt he was going to take his chances on going to Egbuka against Mitchell, and he did, and Mitchell got the best of it.
And the one play, I as Greg explained to me, no, they were a little bit late. They couldn't knock it down. See, I saw watching off TV. It looked to me
like, about the touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, but again, that was a fluke play. Quinyon is an absolute stud. Like this, no one's perfect. If we beat him up pretty bad before 21. We just always tell the truth.
Right.
That's a top 5 drafter since 21. Les Snead. A lot of people think that Rams are the best drafting team.
They're really good.
They're really good. Now, I still struggle with their inside backers, but that's another story for another time, and how weak they are at corner. I don't know how they get away with it. Yeah. But coaching matters. But look, nothing's ever perfect, but he, like Quinyon, and all the criticisms about, he can't play man coverage. The Senior Bowl, it doesn't matter. That's only 3 days of practice. Well, it sure as hell mattered because every NFL team said we're not drafting in the first round, even consider it unless he plays man coverage, and he did. It could have Jim Nagy did to agree to it.
Yeah. All right, so that is all right. Let's talk about some Eagles who are not on the injury report. Good news for them, and good news, of course, for the Eagles. Real quick, though, I just wanted to not forget. I wanted to thank 3 people. I think our viewers on YouTube have probably noticed that we have really nice new overlays on a lot of our shows and new cover art and podcast art, and just our graphic designs, I think, are way more appealing to the eye on a lot of our shows. And I want to thank Nick Palmisano, who's been doing an excellent job as our graphic design intern. He's also making a lot of great social media clips, but the graphic design work has been phenomenal. He's a great kid. I know his father, by the way. Palmisano's Sandwich Shop on Egg Harbor Road in Sewell is the best sandwich you'll ever eat in your life. In fact, I love them all, but I keep ordering the filet mignon cheesesteak because it's that good. But
anything vegan?
They do. They actually do. They have Italian.
Really?
They have vegan stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
In Egg Harbor. Okay, I'm in, dude.
Palmisano's on Egg Harbor Road in Sewell, which is also Washington Township.
Okay,
New Jersey.
very nice.
Yeah. And then also want to thank Xander Jackson, who is making all of our great social media clips on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube, and Donovan Worthy, another Rowan student, just like Xander is our audio and video editing intern, and he's been helping us out behind the scenes with all of his production.
Good job. I want to and thank Neil Hartman.
Neil's been great.
Who oversees the the broadcasting for or is he the dean of like the broadcasting?
Yeah, it's basically not just broadcasting, it's all sports media, sports reporting, sports media curriculum at Rowan, which is like the fastest growing curriculum at the school, which itself is growing fast if you've ever been around there in South Jersey. So Neil's done an excellent job. Loved working with him.
Nice. Great dude. Yeah, I've known Neil for a number of years. And by the former Glassboro State, by the way, for those of you who don't know.
That's correct.
Which was, believe it or not, I have friends who actually played baseball there, believe it or not, when it was Glassboro. But anyway.
Yeah. Glassboro State and Trenton State.
What's that?
Then there used to be a Trenton State, and now that's TCNJ. So yeah.
Yes. All right, let's add this. This is good news off the injury report, which is another thing we started doing last year. It's the first week we're going to do this, but this is actually pretty good. Tanner McKee is no longer on the injury report. Barring something highly foreseen, he should be the number 2 quarterback on Sunday. That matters because if Hurts gets hurt, he's in, and it's healed. That's good for him. Shipley's ribs have healed enough that he's not on the injury report. Also great news. Campbell off with the triceps, Bond off with the knee, because reporters are allowed. They only get 15 to 20 minutes to watch warm-ups at practice because one guy's wearing a brace, the other guy's got something on his arm, or whatever the case may be. Well, guess what? They're off the injury report. That's great news.
Absolutely. All right, now there are some Broncos injuries we got to get into, and we'll get into that in a second. Just one last pause for a word from some great sponsors. Hey, fall is planting season. Did you know that many plants and trees actually do better when planted this time of the year? But you got to know where to start, and that's why I love fastgrowingtrees.com. Doesn't matter if you live in the sunny south or if the air's getting a little chilly where you are, the plant experts can help you find the perfect fit for your space. They've got everything your yard needs: fruit trees, privacy trees, shrubs, flowering trees, so much more. And Fast Growing Trees makes it so easy for you to have your dream yard because you can order online and get your plants delivered directly to your door. If you're like me, you're tired of spending way too much money on landscaping. And if you walk into one of those nurseries and you look at all the stuff they have, you have no idea where to begin. That's why you need fastgrowingtrees.com. Doesn't matter about the size of your yard. They got over 6,000 plants to fit any space, and a 14-point quality checklist ensures you will get the best quality plants possible. This fall, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code BIRDS at checkout. 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code BIRDS at checkout. Now's the perfect time to plant. Use BIRDS to save today. The offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Check out the link below or in the show notes and support the show. Hey, Philly fans, game day is stressful enough. Parking, traffic, long lines. We've all been there. But when it comes to your cannabis, Camden Apothecary makes it easy. This is the dispensary for sports fans, just minutes outside of Philly with plenty of free parking. You'll be in and out fast, no hassle, no waiting. And they don't just care about convenience. Camden Apothecary is all about the guest experience. Their staff makes sure you feel taken care of every time you walk in. Plus, they carry only the best quality cannabis at the fairest prices. So whether you're stocking up for the tailgate, the watch party, or celebrating a big win, you know you're getting the good stuff without overpaying. They even show love to the community with specials for fans, students, service members, and healthcare pros. Camden Apothecary, top quality cannabis, great prices, and an experience made for Philly fans 21 and up. All right, well, Adam, the Broncos are nursing a couple of injuries, and the one that really jumps out is Nick Bonito, who is probably, I don't want to say the most underrated because football people know. I just don't think the whole country, the football fans, know how good Nick Bonito really is.
It's funny. Greg's not perfect. He gets some stuff like, look, he just goes by, here's what the tape looks like.
Yeah.
He loved Bonito like it was his own son. Like he was like, this kid, he goes, it's funny. He told me, he's like, why aren't people talking? Because he always asks me, hey, is this a guy that a lot of people are talking about around the league? I go, yes, scouting people like him, second, third round. He wound up being a second rounder. Right. I love this kid. Loves his tape. He's an absolute stud. He's the highest paid edge rusher in Broncos history, but really good football player. He's going to play. My understanding with their injuries are very simple. Benito's going to play with a wrist injury. Alex Singleton, who came back from the ACL injury, he's got a thumb injury. He's playing through it. Marvin Mims, who's really explosive. Their punt and kickoff return and receiver. We're going to break down the receiver core, which is really deep and really good. I know the Bucs didn't have Evans. That's why I like the Eagles to win that game last week. I know the Broncos have been inconsistent this season. They are really deep at receiver. This is a tough matchup for the Eagles. So they're going to have those guys. Dre Greenlaw will not play. He's on injury reserve. And I don't know that he even would start. Justin Stranad, who's been with them for a number of years. Originally, he was drafted by the Broncos. I think he probably would have started over him. He's a good football player. But Greenlaw with quadriceps, it's a shame. He's not been the same since he was it the ACL in the Super Bowl when he was running onto the field? Or is it Achilles?
No, Achilles. It was Achilles.
Achilles, okay. Yeah. Achilles. Such a shame. He's not been the same. But yeah, they're another team that typically does not have a lot of plus. I chart this stuff. They don't typically have a lot of players on the injury report for whatever reason. So give their medical staff credit to them, and it's why they're good.
I think if you would have asked me, I don't know, I guess after 2020 season, would Alex Singleton, after his Eagles career, still be a good and serviceable starting linebacker for a good playoff team in 2025? I'd probably say, no, because he's not everybody's cup of tea with this skill set, but he is for that defense. He's been good. I think he's had a couple of 100 tackle years for them, so good for him.
Coming off the ACL, I talked to Alex at the Super Bowl, at the Radio Row, whatever you call it. Great dude, does great work for the community. Good for him. But he got a huge contract.
Yeah.
One of his agents went to Cheltenham High School. Yeah. Go Panthers.
Yeah. It's sort of like for a little while, Singleton was kind of the poster child of what was wrong with Eagles linebackers, that they were all just like undrafted guys that you're trying to
exactly right. Here we go.
Honestly, he was pretty good, just like T.J. Edwards wound up making himself pretty good, but there were so many others around him that were not, that it just brought down the entire defense.
Right. And so we're going to talk. We'll talk Riley Moss on Friday, who some teams told me they thought it was a safety. He's too high hipped, too much. He's a really good athlete, but could he play? Could he be a starting corner? The answer is yes. We'll get into him on John Cooper's a good, very underrated edge rusher. With Bonito, we'll talk about John Franklin Myers, who's revived his career after he was traded from the Jets. Talk about Dobbins, who's revived his career again. RJ Harvey, that really good offensive line. It's one of these things where you go, wow, why aren't they better? We're going to talk to Cosell about that on Friday or Saturday, whatever it is.
That's a great point. Don't they? Is Zach Allen healthy for them? He's
good player. A guy the Eagles really
good player. Yeah,
they were not in his price range, so they didn't. I can't remember if they made an offer. I know they really liked him, but he's just a good football player. They have good schemes.
Yep.
It's one of these things you scratch your head because they've turned it around with Sean Payton. The coaching's really good, but you would think they'd be a little bit better, but we'll see. We'll see what Greg says.
There you go. All right. That is a great look at what's going on with the Eagles right now and what's going on with the Broncos. And of course, the next time you hear us break more down, it will be with Greg Cosell on the Inside the Birds pregame show. But we also have more Birds Weekly coming up more
yeah.
DeCecco dailies, and a lot more content and coverage on the Inside the Birds platform. That will do it for this episode of Inside the Birds, the leading podcast in Eagles intel. And as always, we thank you for flying with us inside the Birds.